Are you trying to make this a challenge? Holy hicka. We need to introduce Liam.
That's his name. His name is Liam?
We named him Liam. He's not Liam Skinny. So I said, because I want to call him Liam. And they're like, why Liam? I was like, because Liam from Wiley Orchia, he's real skinny, like a skeleton. So his name's Liam.
Welcome to the L&T podcast. It's a lifestyle. We've been away for a while. We've been busy, but Happy New Year 2024.
Yeah, glad to be back. Looking forward to sharing knowledge again for this whole year.
We're very excited to be back and be in front of the camera again. Last year was a bit busy year for Robin and myself. Robin was quite busy getting his master's done. So congratulations on that, brother.
Thank you, man.
And I was busy getting married.
A huge congratulations.
Thank you. So it was especially the second half of the year was a busy time. But I thought, we thought it would be a good idea to kickstart this year with a podcast on, since it's January, lots of people are thinking, maybe contemplating, starting training. So we thought about talking about overcoming fear of training, whether it's joining the gym, whether it's joining a group class, you want to start running, you want to start a sports team or a martial arts gym, anything.
Anything that gets you moving, anything that's part of a community-based approach to a physical fitness movement and health.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we'll be talking about the barriers that are involved and what Robin and I have experienced with our clients that sort of interrupt or block a person from joining a gym or getting started or making a move towards eventually a healthier lifestyle. That's what we're looking at. And not only that, not only the barriers and the fears, we'll also look at particular strategies that Robin and I, again, anecdotally have seen work, but also we'll tap into research and see, delve in deeper to why those fears exist and what strategies you could use, hopefully, that can overcome them and finally get started.
Yeah, so Marvin and myself were having a discussion about what we've experienced with the patients and clients that we're working with and how they've ended up training with us and how they were able to overcome such barriers. So we're going to go in a chronological order. We're going to talk about body image, what that looks like for people, the fear of public gym. We're going to look at fear of leaving current circumstance or lifestyle, so having to change your lifestyle. The fear of trying and failing, so that's either towards yourself or towards other people. Fear of injury or fear of performing exercises incorrectly. Fear of having no plan or not knowing what to do. And a fear of commitment. So body image.
Yeah, the big one. And it's fitting to start off with that. And thinking about body image, especially now in this era, in the social media era, body image is a huge talking point. And it's not initially started off for the big talk for females, but now males as well, especially in the teenage years. Looking at particular social media platforms, and you look at someone's image on Instagram, and some guys are literally there, guys and girls are literally there getting paid to look good, getting paid through use of Photoshop, through use of good lighting, and they're taking about 400 photos and they're posting only the best ones.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's bringing alongside a disproportionate self or poor representative of yourself, right? So if you're looking at on Instagram or social media, whatever it may be, and you're comparing yourself and you feel like you're not looking like that individual, and having a poor self-image, then you maybe start to question. Marvin and I have spoken to people about this before, querying, do you have to look like that to even start the gym? Well, no.
Absolutely. And it's a huge misconception, thinking the gym is filled with or it's only for completely shredded fitness models and guys who are proper built, and you can see every single muscle and striation in their body, which is completely not true. And sometimes looking at those things in social media, you kind of think that it might be the case, and you start thinking maybe this is just not for me, or it's not I don't fit in here, and that's not a correct way of thinking at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually with guys, one of the main thing is I'm not big enough, or I don't have enough muscles, or I don't look like this guy, this fitness model, and that's where the issue usually starts. And with the females is I'm not thin enough, I'm not skinny enough, yeah, and yeah, I don't like my body here. And you start looking in the mirror and you're zooming in on the particular parts of the body that you don't feel confident in, and that's not a healthy ideology as well.
And that's a spiral effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't look like this, therefore I won't go to the gym.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Actually, it's fine you look like that. Go to the gym anyway.
Absolutely.
Or go to that class anyway, or participate in that sport anyway.
Absolutely. And you've tapped on one of the key strategies to help overcome with the body image, and that's trying to control your thought management and what you want to do with your thinking. Because like any skill, a lot of people think, mental strength and mental toughness is a skill or a gift that everyone has. It's been Australian Open's just finished actually, and I just saw Djokovic was being interviewed, and the interviewer asked and said to Djokovic, one of your biggest gifts is your mental toughness. And Djokovic stopped him immediately. He said, I'm going to have to correct you here. This is definitely not a gift. This is hard work, and I've trained on it. Just the same way I've trained for tennis, for my forehand and backhand, I've trained my mental toughness. So if you are feeling like you do tend to lean towards negative thoughts, don't feel hopeless in that matter. There's things you can do to help improve and cut out those negative thoughts and acknowledge them, acknowledge that they're there in the first place, but make sure you stop them and try to reverse it into more positive things. Okay. Think about not only what your body looks like, think about what your body can do.
Yep.
Okay. And be grateful that you do have a body, you're existing, and what it can do, what it can perform, and be thankful and grateful for that. So definitely look at the positives in that matter, and controlling your thoughts and focusing on that is a big thing to help with that body image.
Yep. Show some self-love.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot of times, and I'm sure we'll cover it once we talk about being in public gyms, a lot of body image issues start there. Yeah. But we will talk further about body image once we talk about the public gym. We touched upon the other coping strategy is that minimizing body checking behaviors is a big one. A lot of people will weigh themselves every single morning and become fixated on the weight. No, I'm not happy. I'm this weight. I should be that weight. I'm not dropping down. And you end up in a very, very unhealthy cycle loop. The other thing is people, like I mentioned, you're looking in the mirror and all of a sudden you're only internalizing the stuff you don't like or you're not happy with. You're looking at your, whatever it may be, your love handles or the chicken wings, or why is my six pack not there yet? And I've been training, doing everything, thinking you're doing everything right, So try to go away from that. You don't need to look in the mirror every single time and zoom in on that. You need to zoom out, have a look, and appreciate what you've got, and work on have a positive mindset and think about the process as opposed to the outcome itself.
That's it. Well, you can talk yourself in and out of anything, right? So you can talk yourself out of not going to the gym for the certain body image disparities that you may be facing, but also you can talk yourself into it, and like you're just saying, look at those positive spins, and that will be just enough potentially just to get you moving forward, build that momentum. You do that every session.
Yeah.
Do that every session. And when you start developing some healthy body image changes and start reaching those minor goals that you get, then you can actually draw on that
Yeah.
for the intrinsic motivation and keep on going forward.
Absolutely.
And have a positive spin on that body image.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're bang on there. And the same thing with social circle, actually. Now, checking in terms of body checking behaviors. Now, you may have some friends who are always talking about, check out this girl, man. She looks amazing. Look at this. And everything is, the whole foundation of the chat is based on the person's body and their appearance. And that's also not a healthy friend to be around too much. So you got to either check them and talk to them, or try to limit yourself along people like that, because they're going to be drilling you, and then basically subconsciously you're just thinking about, oh, if you've got a good body, you're a good person, and if you don't have a good body, you're just not worth it, you know. And that's a terrible ideology to have, and it's a very incorrect ideology to have. So social circle is a big thing. Don't get too internalized with friends like that who are just fixated on what people look like all the time.
Yep.
Not healthy.
Yeah, valid point, man.
Yeah. The other thing is clothing, okay? Try to look for clothes that you're comfortable in and that you feel like your body looks good in. Don't go with, again, social media or what they're trying to sell you. Some things, you know, sometimes I know people who buy particular dresses or outfits, and they know for them it doesn't fit for them. And they'll say, you know, I'll fit into them later. That's the goal. My advice for you is to box all those clothes and have the clothes that you feel completely confident in, okay? And that will help boost your body image, as opposed to keep looking at those clothes in your wardrobe and be like, damn, I don't look good in those, or I'm not going to fit those, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so clothing is kind of like, you know, like when you're gamblers, once they hear the noise of the machines, and they're just straight away fixated on it.
Yep.
And it's the same thing if you look at it, you know, you've bought some clothes that are 2 sizes down, and you look at them, all of a sudden you're triggering those negative thoughts and ideologies of body image in your head again automatically. It's classical conditioning. So wear clothes you're confident in, that you're looking, feel like you look good in.
That's it. You don't want to be concerned about what you're wearing. You want to be concerned about the effort that you're putting into training, right?
Yeah.
So if you're already leaving the house or wherever you may be before, like prior going to the gym, if, like you said, if you're dressed up and you're feeling good,
Yeah.
then most likely you're going to have a good training regime or a good outlet of sports, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I think that's just going to be a very good starting point. And then if you're feeling good, it doesn't matter. To be honest, it doesn't matter what you look like.
Yeah.
If you're feeling good,
Oh man, confidence
doesn't matter.
Confidence
It doesn't
is everything.
matter. Just get into the gym or, you know, sports, whatever you're going to pursue,
Yeah.
and just do it.
And just do it. Just do it. Yeah. And confidence is everything. That's the other thing. It's building your confidence in terms of body image. And this goes the same as your thought management. Confidence is not a talent. It's a skill you develop. Okay. The more you face your fears, the more you crack on with them, eventually that fear diminishes, okay? And you build that confidence, okay? And that goes off. And there's an interesting quote from Van Gogh, and he said, if you hear a voice within you, Vincent van Gogh is obviously a famous painter. If you hear a voice within you say you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced, okay? And that goes on with as well. Once we go talk about the gym and entering the gym, do it. Eventually, that fear will break down. Then confidence is built. It takes time, like any skill, but start today. Express gratitude. Be happy with what you've got, and have a plan of what you're wanting to build on top of that.
Yeah. Minimize the paralysis by fear.
Absolutely.
Hey, just
yeah.
action.
Minimize,
action.
Exactly.
Less thinking.
Exactly. Yeah, they say fear equals what was it? Fear equals time times thought.
Yeah.
Okay. The longer you think about something, the more you build that fear.
Yeah.
So
and the less likely you're going to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So straight away, make a move. 2024.
Get your comfy clothes
This is
on.
it.
Don't worry about your body image.
Look at Liam.
Just get
This is
into
Liam,
it.
by the way. Comfy clothes, ready to go. Already, I don't know how the hell he's got 2 medals, but he's
$2 shop.
But he got started. A bit old now, he's deceased, but he got started. But yeah, man, that's basically the basis around body image. It is a big topic.
Yeah.
And we could talk about it all for a whole new podcast and complete topic. But we can move on to in terms of the gym.
Yeah,
itself.
well, fear of a public gym, right?
Absolutely.
That's what a lot of people sort of can't get their head around. And I actually made a note of what Marvin and I have experienced, and so I'll just read them out, and then we'll actually go through them. But we discuss what intimidation looks like, age, weight, your current strength and fitness level, lack of skill, and that could be sport or exercise training, your mindset, which we've spoken about, and social anxiety. So if we were to first, if we just go through intimidation. So I guess for a lot of people, that's not knowing the expectation, or if you were thinking that what you see on social media is what you can expect in a gym, that is far from the truth. So what you perceive as maybe the sort of intimidating factors at the gym, we ourselves can guarantee that's actually not there. Most of the time, and this is what people have reported, because we've had a lot of discussion with thousands of people about this, is that it's their own limiting self factors that have caused that limiting factor or the intimidation. And when they actually started there for a first week, they realized that it didn't occur. So a good example is most recently, lady, I won't give too much details, but lady, mid-50s, trialed at a gym, won't say the name, but trialed the gym for a few weeks. Her actually intimidation was going to be a lot of people going to look at her. And there's just going to be a lot of young fitness people.
And she was slightly older.
Yeah, she was older. She was mid-50s and like not overweight, just normal average person, wanted to get healthier for the grandchildren, family, etc. She got there. First thing she goes, well, nobody actually cared about me enough to even look and watch what I was doing. Like, this is the general pop, not the trainers, nothing like that. And that made her feel really, really comfortable. And also in terms of the youth, that actually wasn't that existent. She found that there was a lot of people similar age that were there training.
Absolutely.
So the intimidation, the stories that we make up, they're just not quite there. And I guess if you were concerned about that, then I'd say take a friend or take another family member, and you'll be quite surprised, and just trial it for a full month.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Trial it. I think in getting started, go to the gym, walk around. Do that. Sometimes it can be a daunting place and filled with this equipment that you don't know, and we'll talk about stuff about not knowing what to do soon. But yeah, the first fear is like, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. Nah, you're not that great. Like, no, not many people. Everyone's focused on themselves. Everyone's got goals there, got things to do. They've got exercise plans to cover. No one's standing there on the side of the gym and watching, pointing and laughing at anyone there. Okay, everyone's just focused on themselves. So that's a one big thing.
That's it. Trial it.
Exactly.
And the stories that you tell yourselves just will not exist. And it comes to the second point. So Marvin and I, we train right from kids right through to senior citizens, or six. I think the oldest that we are physically training 78 or 70 going to be 78 this year. Seasoned
exactly. Athlete.
And so age should not be a barrier or a fear. So thinking that you're too young, so keep this in mind. I'm not saying if you're 10, just go strength train, go out there, like get a professional that you can trust and rely on. However, you don't need to be feared by age either. If you're training correctly, proper form, adequate load, and you're going through a safe manner of good programming, you can be safe. So think about a kid that plays at a playground and they're swinging on monkey bars, they're putting a lot more load through their body. So if we're looking at the younger age scale, you don't need to be concerned about age, but be concerned how they're training, who they're training with, and are they seeking right advice, and are they eating enough? Now, on the opposite scale, thinking that you're too old, never too old to start.
Not at all.
Never too old to continue. So same thing applies, right? good training, good structure. Make sure you have someone that's in your corner that's a health professional that can help you get into training. In New Zealand, where Marvin and I are living, there's actually age-related prescription exercise groups. So I think at most of the universities now, they have 60 and over. So it's specific for that general population. So age should not be a barrier when it comes to the limiting factors to going to the gym.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of people say it's too late for me to join the gym. I'm too old, and you hear that quite a bit. And I should have started earlier. If only I started in my 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s. There's benefits to be had, and there's huge benefits to be had in terms of your health and well-being and longevity and vitality in general. Whether you are 20 or whether you are 60, like Robin said, 70, there's major benefits to be had from exercise. And starting today, no matter what age you are, you will reap the rewards. So definitely cannot encourage people enough to start. And there are huge benefits to be had with older age as well, in terms of osteoporosis and sarcopenia, which is muscle loss and loss of bone mineral density. So lots of benefits to be had in that ground. And so ball's in your court, really, and you can start whenever you like, and you're going to have major benefits across the board.
Yep. We've touched on it with the body image, but I'm just going to speak about it independently about weight. So I know that people feel like their weight is a barrier to go to the gym or play sports. Now, yes, there is, to put into context, with weight, if you're going to play tennis, as an example, high agility sport, a lot of directional change, a lot of force goes through the knee. So your weight could contribute to like knee pain. So that's where you just want to be cautious around those sports. However, if we're talking about gym specifically and wanting to get into a regime, weight is not a barrier. The gym or a physical setting or walking or be part of a communal group is the perfect place to start.
Absolutely.
If your weight is actually a concern, because I feel for a lot of people that talk to Marvin and myself that if weight is of concern, they generally want to drop weight. So the gym is a perfect place to start that journey. And once again, people won't look at you. If you actually go to gyms, people are very supportive and people want to help.
Yeah.
And people really care when people are getting to the fitness regime. So if you feel like weight is a barrier, you can sort of strip those walls down, and trust me, there'll be a lot more people that are willing to help you than if you feel like people are going to laugh at you. That is just not the case.
Absolutely. And the demographic of we've been to so many public gyms and we've seen it, and you get a massive spectrum of demographics in terms of age ranges, weight ranges, body shapes and sizes. You get everything, so it's not like it's made for a specific type of person and everyone else is not welcome. Not at all. And we're talking about the gyms, guys. The same thing goes with the classes as well. Yes, there are different intensities of classes, but the coaches usually and the instructors let you go at your own pace. Work with what you've got. Just start, and there will be many people around you working with what they've got also. If there's stuff you can't do, you don't need to do it. No one's forcing you. The class isn't going to stop. They're not going to put down the music and look at you and say, why aren't you doing this? Not at all. Things are going, class in, do what you can, move your body, you're out. Yep. The same with spin classes, the same with regular gym goers, same with yoga. My flexibility is terrible. It's one of my goals for this year is to improve that. Going to a yoga class, it's not going to look very majestic. I'll tell you that much for free. But got to improve, right?
You will get better.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
will get better from attending.
Yeah.
And that's the same. That's sort of segueing into skill set, right?
Yeah.
So for a lot of people, the skill or acquisition of a movement pattern or strength training, whatever it may be, they see that as a barrier to joining the gym or sports club, whatever it may be. However, I don't know anybody that has got skillfully better at something without doing the task. So If I want to get better at a squat, I can't sit on my couch and get better at a squat. So, on our online program, we demonstrate people how to execute that skill with precision. Because the thing is, if you know that you're doing it correctly, you actually end up enjoying enjoying the movement or the exercise that you're doing. You know that you're keeping yourself safe, and you actually progress faster.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the skill, if you need to find a local coach or you jump on our L&T program, we teach you how to become skill-based and orientate yourself towards good exercise movements. It shouldn't be a barrier. It's just need to know how to do it, and you need to practice it. So quite simple. And it goes with your current fitness levels. So looking at fitness levels and strength. Once again, it's not a barrier because you can go to the gym, you can train, you can break down that barrier by increasing your fitness levels, by just what we were saying before, action it and just start. Everybody started somewhere. So nobody started strong, and there is the exception, but trust me, 99% of people did not start strong. 99% of people did not start fit.
Amen.
And it goes the same. 99% of people don't train for a year or two, stop training, and stay strong. They get weaker. Same goes for fitness levels. If you're not training your cardiovascular system, you decrease your fitness levels.
Yeah.
So the people that you may see fit, even if it's on social media, they just worked really, really hard for a very long time and continue to work hard probably until they are dug in, they're in a hole.
They look like Liam.
They look like Liam here. So it's very important just to realize you can become more skillful, you can get fitter, you can get stronger. These aren't barriers.
Absolutely.
The gym is a safe place to receive those skills and get your fitness levels up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think I totally agree with you, man. There's no better way than learning a skill set than immersing yourself in that skill and trying it out yourself. That being said, however, for some people like myself who's a little bit more analytical and likes to plan, there's no harm in you doing some research. There's so much stuff right now, whether you go to social media or YouTube, you're looking at particular equipment, how to use a leg press. You'll get a vast variety of videos demonstrating how to use a leg press, how to use a chest fly machine, how to do a dumbbell chest press, how to do a row. So many videos you can look into. So now all of a sudden you've got a little bit of a clue of how things work, and that can sometimes actually build confidence. Knowledge is power, right? And the more you have it, so before you even go to the gym, I've seen the video of that machine. It's more approachable all of a sudden, you know? So that does help. That's one part of preparation. The other part of preparation is mental preparation. Be prepared that some days you will go to the gym and things were hard, or you didn't know what to do, and things didn't work out your way. Be prepared for your worst day. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to make sure that you're going to wake up the next morning or in 2 days' time and go to the gym again, or go to that class again, or that class was too intense? Or maybe for that day, there were two girls next to you that were really, really fit, and it might have been intimidating. What's your mindset at that time? So be prepared for those times. If that happens, I need to go back to my gratitude list. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. Remember what your goals were. Why did you start? I wanted to be able to play with my kids. I wanted to lose weight and be more in shape. Go back to those lists. Why are you doing it in the first place? So be prepared.
Well, we had a good example. Marvin and I, we have recently started playing a lot of tennis. And it's just a summertime over the Christmas period, free time, outdoors, fresh air, vitamin D3. And Marvin's good.
Average.
I will get there. Just like all things, just got to keep on practicing. However, next to us, to the right of us, there were two young men. No older than 25. And you just watch their serve. And we literally stopped our game and we're just watching these young men go back and forth. So two ways we could have looked at it, like, oh man, I'm never coming back here. I'm not going to play again. I'm not as good as these guys. Second thought, how do I get that good? So I went over and approached the guys, like, oh, how do you serve like that?
That was awesome.
And then he gave us a one-on-one lesson on what to do. From that, I ended up gaining three skills or three attributes that's going to help with my serve.
Absolutely.
That's going to get me better. So I wasn't derailed from how good this guy was. It's like I will seek his knowledge. So he's got a better skill. I want that skill.
Absolutely.
So everybody will have a shortcut. to it. So you're never alone in this journey.
Such a good example you brought. Yeah, I remember that really well. And yeah, that being said, you raise a good point. The people who are really skillful or really in shape tend to be the most helpful and the most approachable and actually low key least intimidating. They feel very good about themselves. Everyone has insecurities, but they're confident and they might acknowledge their insecurities, but they're very confident with their body, with their abilities, and they're very willing to help.
Oh, he was more than accommodating.
Yeah.
He spent a good 5-10 minutes just on the serve.
Yeah.
Can I execute it now? No.
However, we tried. Did you see me after?
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah. But
we got laughed at. That's fine.
But they tend to be, if you're very skilled at something, you kind of tend to be a lot more caring because you've gone through the whole process.
Yep.
You know the difficulties of starting. You remember in your first session of jiu-jitsu, Robin, and if someone was to approach you, a white belt, to say, how do you do this? How do you get out of this position? How do you do that? You'll be more than accommodating because you've been in that shit zone before. So it's the same. It's the same with any skill set.
People love to share knowledge.
Absolutely,
people love to share knowledge.
Sometimes it's a selfish thing. They want to show you and help you because they know. So. Do not be intimidated at all, especially from the people who look really good, because they tend to be.
Yeah.
They've done some hard work, and they want to teach you how to get there.
Yeah, I want to raise just the final point under sort of the intimidation or the fear or the barrier about the gym. Recently, just had a conversation with a young man who's 42, and he was telling me about his social anxiety, and. That has a huge effect on because he wants to lose weight just so it makes it easier for his walking. He's noticing that his knees are getting sore and it's a bit tougher on his feet. And so he was talking about his social anxiety, and we had a discussion about it. And the cool thing is he's seeking professional help. So he's got a psychologist that he's talking to on a weekly basis, which have set some very cool tools and strategies about it. And we're just discussing about, well, how does one acquire, or how does one end up having social anxiety? So I'll just read, because I made a note of what he's telling me about our conversation. And this is what I found interesting, is that genetic factors, so this is what the psychologist was talking about, actually genetic factors can be a determinant of if you're going to end up having social anxiety. So it may run through the family history. So if you feel like you have social anxiety that's preventing you from participating in sports and a gym, then it may be worthwhile having a chat to your doctor or having a chat to family members and see if it's actually through the family timeline. And then you seek professional help, and then you can start to tackle it. Secondly, he was telling me it could be environmental influences. So that goes to more going back to like childhood trauma, or you have trauma that then has relayed back to a social anxiety phobia for going out to public. So it's been able to, what he was telling me, it's been able to identify what has happened in the past, because it could be that moment that led to ongoing social anxiety. And it could be something that you've actually forgotten about that's deeper into the subconscious. And then you want to acknowledge that, identify it, and then work through whatever it is. And I'm not going to get into any tools and strategies that we spoke about, because this is not our field, and we won't proclaim to have the best tools and strategies for you. But it's just worth noting that it could be something environmental that's happened
very
very, very long time ago.
Yeah. And it's a useful, I guess this podcast is we've talking about people starting off, but it's actually, hopefully you can gather something. If you are someone who started and has had a not such a good experience with whether they joined the gym or a class or a sports team, and that particular moment or incident put them away from that from that activity, and they don't want to touch it anymore. These strategies that we're giving here will be very useful for people in that situation as well.
Well, Rebecca, my eldest daughter, is a good example. When she ended up having a significant injury last year from jiu-jitsu. So there's two outcomes that could have happened from that. One, she leaves the sports, or two, she comes back because of been able to build up that tolerance again, heading back to jiu-jitsu. So thankfully that we were able, just as parents, were able to coach her through it again and get her back into it.
Yeah.
But she's loving it again. But I could imagine for a lot of people, and we've probably dealt with a lot of people but not realized with injuries, that they've had some significant like knee injury as an example and just not returned back to maybe football or rugby league. So that would be part of the trauma. But it doesn't mean, I can understand it that people want to stop the sport. However, you may just need to diversify and head into something else that could be perceived as safer for yourself, even if it's swimming, something low level. So there's always a way to overcome whatever you're going through, and there'll be more than enough people that will want to support you to get through it.
Absolutely, and that covers really a fear of joining the gym or a sports team or whatever it is. There's so many different forms of exercise. There's it's not one thing is right for everybody. So if something, you try it and you've truly given it a go and it's just not working with you or you're not enjoying it, fine, remove that off the list. You've just got another 8,642 forms of exercise to go. Keep tapping away. You will find something that works for you. Maybe training at home. Maybe walking, going for jogs outside or doing classes, whatever it may be. You will find something that will work. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about in terms of joining the gym?
There was one other thing, just going back to the social anxiety that we spoke about, and it was to do with people's individual personality traits. And that if you are more inclined to be a introverted individual, that can actually lead to the social anxiety, where it becomes a negative spiral because the more you withdraw, the more you withdraw. So I guess it's like the point of that, the more is more, but in this case, it's something that's not positive. So it's been able to identify, okay, your own personality trait. And if you find that you are more introverted, you don't need to do this big swap to being introverted. What he was talking about is that you just find out how you can get yourself out of it just enough for social interaction. But it could be that you go to the gym just by yourself or just you and the trainer. It doesn't mean you need to talk to anyone. You can put your headphones on, listen to your music, and still stay within your own safe, secure bubble. I found those really, really insightful.
Absolutely. And that being said, also in the gym, you see guys and girls, headphones, and they're in the zone. They don't, it's almost like they're there alone. There's no one. They've blocked everything out. And there are other people who like to socialize and talk to friends, and they go together in groups. Again, it fits for everyone. It's an environment for everyone. Everyone's welcomed as long as you want to. You're seeking self-improvement, you belong there.
Okay, what about, so we've spoken about this, you and I, like the fear of having to change your lifestyle or the fear of having to change your circumstance, because that is a topic on its own.
Absolutely. And that's big. And what we're trying to talk about here is, for example, so you're worried about leaving your current lifestyle.
You're this is safe.
Like, oh my God, like if I join the gym and start eating healthy and start doing this, that means I can't watch late night movies because I got to sleep early because I got to get up in the morning and gym. Or if I'm eating healthy, I can't have takeaways anymore. I can't have that ice cream after lunch.
So people will fight for their limitations.
They
really will. Like I will fight to stay up. No, not me, but the people that Marvin and I are working with is that I will, like you're saying, I will fight to stay up late. I will fight for the takeaways. I will fight not to walk to the shops. I will fight to drive. If you think about it, you're fighting for the limitations that are holding you back from wanting to do X, Y, Z.
Wanting to change, right? Because it's actually so well noted in studies and it's called neophobia, which is the fear of something new or fear of changing to something new. And I think fear of also the fear of the unknown, not knowing, which is I think it's called metathesiophobia, fancy word. Fear of the unknown. That's what it is. Okay. Fear of, if I leave this lifestyle that I've got at the moment, I don't know what's coming, and will I be okay with leaving what I've got behind because I'm so comfortable? And generally speaking, just go through evolution. There's a reason why we seek comfort, because the unknown, there could be a tiger behind the bushes, or there could be a different tribe trying to kill us. So you stick to what you know because everything else is risky, and that's where it's sort of started off with. But one of the biggest tips that you have to do, and I can give you, or a strategy, is to cultivate a growth mindset from the get-go. Ask yourself, so when you're at the stage, you got to know that you are already contemplating that you want change. You want to get in shape, or you want to look better, or you want to perform better in whatever it is, whatever task it is, or you want to be able to play with your grandchildren, whatever your goal is. But you have to cultivate a growth mindset, meaning that you have to understand that change is good, and change is an opportunity. See it as an opportunity that you could actually learn or take away something big. Okay. Every time we are in positions that are slightly uncomfortable or tough, we generally come out stronger and come out with a few lessons that will build us and make us better. Whether it's in business, whether it's in exercise, whether it's whatever it is. Having that mindset and building that will help you grow bigger. Okay.
Nobody ever accomplishes anything from not being challenged.
Absolutely.
Like in all forms of life. So think about it. If we, from infants, if we weren't challenged by our parents, when you start as a baby, you're sort of just lying there, and that's cool. But imagine if you never progressed through crawling. So then you're mobile. You're just lying on the floor. Okay, so then what would you miss out on life if you can't crawl, just thinking as a baby? And then you think about when your parents helped you up and you held on to their fingers, and then you started to walk. That's your progression.
Yeah.
That's you getting challenged as a baby. So imagine if you couldn't walk. And then so forth. Imagine if you never challenged yourself to get a driver's license. You never challenged yourself to go on a first date. You never challenge yourself to go to the gym. You actually end up missing out on quite a lot.
Absolutely.
Without being challenged.
Yeah.
Without taking a risk.
And growth is difficult, right? And sometimes it contradicts comfort. So sometimes you need to get uncomfortable to grow. Okay. You're living in a square. We're all living in our own squares, and we're so comfortable. We know everything inside that square. And as soon as we tap out, things get a little bit shaky. But you could expand that square and expand your horizons. And all of a sudden, you've got new opportunities and new things. And you meet people that you thought you'd never meet before. And life is so much greater, Yeah. So, to have phases, comfort is good sometimes, but there are times where you got to make a move and really push yourself. So that's one thing, is getting a growth mindset and thinking about, no, I want to grow. I want to get bigger. I want to push myself out there. Okay. And again, like we said, fear is time times thought. Okay. Don't think too much. Make that move.
Yeah.
Second of all is building a supportive network, a social network around you. And this is where we're going to the same topic of the fear of leaving current circumstances and lifestyle and going to another. Usually when you're living in a particular lifestyle, your social network is somewhere along that lifestyle. If I hang out with people who love to drink and party, if I hang out with people who love takeaways and love lifestyle and love to stay up late and do that, chances are it's very hard for me to kind of deviate away. Okay. Now, I'm not telling you to go and message all your friends and family members and say, this is it. I'm on my own now. That's not the advice I'm giving at all. What I'm giving is try to go interact with people with the mindset or with the lifestyle that you want to take up on. Okay. Eventually you will make that deviation. Don't leave everyone behind, but say I've got my friends and they love drinking, love doing all this sort of stuff, do a party on the weekends, takeaways, never do them cook at home. And then I meet Robin, and Robin's
Loves
eating
to
healthy.
drink, loves to party.
Then I'm screwed. But say Robin's into the gym, into a healthier lifestyle, eating well. I'll try to ask him some questions and try to get along. Maybe he'll invite me to a Saturday training session. Maybe there's a run club that's going on that you join. Push yourself into those environments. That's your opportunity. If you get any opportunity, you meet a person like that, and you're like, oh man, this is the lifestyle I want to build towards. I know I'm scared of leaving this, but these people that you're going to meet will make that transition a lot easier.
Yep.
So building that social circle, start by one person, whoever it is. Maybe it's someone in the gym you just met, and you can have a chat with them. One of the instructors in the gym, or a friend that you have who seems to be into that lifestyle, and just build from that, grow. And sometimes you'll get invited to particular events and exercises, and
you excel.
absolutely,
You excel when you're around that community of people that are achieving in what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
So I know for Marvin and myself, we speak about this quite a bit, like just in a general conversation, that if we want to do something, we try to find other people that are exceptionally good at that. So at the moment, we want to surround ourselves with better tennis players so that we can get better. It doesn't make sense for us to be surrounding ourselves with tennis players that are poor at what they do and don't want to get any better. Because naturally, by association, we're going to drag ourselves down. So same as with the health and fitness regime, is that if you can associate yourself with what Marvin was just talking about, the right environment and the right people, then by association, you're going to get pulled up. It's a very fast way to get good at anything.
That's so true. And it's almost the cheat code. The same with career, or jobs, or whatever it is in life. Hang around people you want to be like, and you will be like them. We are very, very social beings, and we kind of adapt and we mold into our environments. So social circles, very, very important.
Yeah.
Third piece of advice in terms of leaving current lifestyle, fear of leaving current lifestyle, is try to familiarize and research about your new lifestyle. Okay. So we talked about that box earlier. And everything around that box is completely blurry and unknown. There's nothing. You don't know anything about it. And that's scary as shit,
Yeah.
Doing a little bit of research, whether it's online, whether it's talking to someone, finding out, what is it like? What kind of recipes are we talking about here? And with this, if I'm eating like this, how many times a week do I have to train if I'm doing this? Can this be managed with this and that, with my work? Fitting and scheduling and goal setting and researching about what that lifestyle looks like, all of a sudden that blurriness, there's some pathways you can see, and it becomes a little bit less scary to tap into as opposed to jumping completely into the unknown. Eventually you will need to jump. You're never going to know for sure. That's the best way of learning, but you can make that gap a little bit narrower, so it's a little bit easier to get across. So another
Nice.
piece of advice. So cultivate a growth mindset, build a supportive social network, research your new lifestyle. And the last piece of advice is don't be too scared, because you don't have to let go of every single thing you have currently. Okay? People think that you're going to go cold turkey and that's it. You can still have your ice cream. Okay? Everything in moderation. You can still go out and party. Yeah. You can stay late and watch a movie and skip a gym session, okay? As long as you've got your goal oriented, and you're having to calculate everything, what's happening, what am I doing in this quarter, what am I trying to achieve in this quarter. You don't have to let go of everything. Some things you enjoy, you can keep everything in moderation.
Well, that's, I guess, the other fear, or leading into another fear, is what if I fail?
Huge.
I could fail myself, like set these goals, but not quite hit the targets.
Yeah.
Or I could say to you, okay, Marvin, I'm going to train up towards a competition. I'm going to train 3 times a week because I'm feeling motivated. Yeah, I'm going to go. And then before I actually start even executing my plan, I'm like, oh man, I might let him down.
Yeah.
It's a crutch. Boom. Oh no, I'm just not going to start.
It is.
You
It
know,
is.
I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want people to think, oh yeah, no, he just says he's going to do something, but never does it. That could be a huge fear, like for health, just as an entirety.
That's one of the biggest fears there is, and it's not just to do beginning with exercise, with everything. It's one of them we talked about earlier, fear of the unknown, and then fear of failure. Is what if I give this a crack? What if I give this a red hot crack and I come out short? And that can be a scary thing, a very, very scary thing. And actually, there's a lot of studies done shown on self-sabotage. What self-sabotage is when an individual will purposely fail or not give it their all so that they have an excuse. For example, I will. What's a good example to give? And I've had that
got
in this. Go on.
I know of one.
Go on.
So, was it a year or 2 years ago? I know of a guy that was competing overseas that didn't commit to all the training, didn't do well at the comp, and came back and said to me, oh, it's because I couldn't do all the training.
Self-sabotage. That's it.
But I know for a fact he could have done all the training because he's done the amount of training required before when he wasn't going to compete.
Yeah.
But because he was going to compete on an international level, he didn't do all the training possible, almost giving him an excuse to not do well at the competition.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the perfect example of self-sabotage. That's exactly it. Another example of self-sabotage is, for example, you're at a football game and you're losing 1-0 and you get the penalty spot. You get a penalty kick awarded to your team and you come out and take the penalty to make it a 1-1 and you draw and tie things up. And there's an immense amount of pressure on you to try to convert this penalty. And you decide to do a little bit of a dink or a trick shot because subconsciously in your mind saying, if I do a trick shot and I miss, I can just say, oh, I just did a trick shot. If I really took a proper shot, I would have scored that penalty. So there's so many different methods. The same as, for example...
I have a question. In football, in this scenario, if you sincerely gave it your best, like you just sent the ball flying, let's say top left-hand corner, and the goalie managed to get there like something miraculous, why would the team tarnish you because you missed? Or would they be so grateful that you just gave it your best?
Yeah, absolutely. They'd be grateful.
Yeah.
Grateful 100% of the time, and never been in an experience where it's been the complete opposite, right? Whereas if you did a trick shot and you missed and that's an important shot, then definitely the team might be quite upset with you, okay? So that's the thing. But the fear, that's why fear of failing is so big, because if you gave it your all and you missed, that's going to really damage your pride and your ego. And that's why it's so scary, because it just means you're going to get the feeling that you're not enough. You gave it your all, but you're not enough, okay? But what again, a growth mindset person would say, or someone with mental toughness, is I didn't meet the standards today. Tomorrow I'm a new person. And the day after I'm a new person.
Yep.
I'm going to keep training and developing and getting better. We morph. We don't stay the same, If you fail one day, you learn, you move on better. Okay? That's growth mindset. And like I said, it's not a gift. People don't get it. I've been training on it and I still train on it and I still fail. You know? It's just the way it is. So
that's the reach for the stars.
Yeah.
Right? Hit the moon.
Yeah.
It's like, let's just say I say to you, okay, today, Marvin, I want to hit, my goal by the end of the year is to do a 150 bench. I'll just make something up.
Yeah.
And then let's just say my current bench is 100 kgs. And by the time I get to the year, you ask me, oh, Robin, how I went. I said, oh, man, I hit 135. You cannot be disappointed because that is actually not a failure. You set a high goal. You're still better
Yeah.
than your original state from when you started. So the fear of failure actually doesn't happen when you set goals because it's just, you're still tracking.
Absolutely.
You're
Absolutely.
still tracking. Just keep on targeting for them. And people will not see you as a failure. People will be like, that person gave it a go.
Yeah.
So in the eyes of your support system, if you feel like you're going to be failing somebody and you feel like you got to self-sabotage, no. If sincerely, people will back you up.
Absolutely.
People don't want to see each other fail. Like I don't want to see Marvin fail and vice versa. So we will help each other.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you want to see other people fail, then you should take a hard look at yourself.
Yeah, you need to make some. We suggest you make some changes just to be better to help those around you. That's all.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll be alone. Like Liam. But yeah, again, fear of failure. Setting goals is a huge thing, like you mentioned, and there's. I was thinking about it. And try to line it up and ask yourself these 4 questions. 2 questions in relation to the fear and 2 questions in relation of how you're going to get through that and get over it. One of the key questions is, what am I really afraid of? Okay. Pin yourself down and ask yourself that. Okay. It might be a tough ask, but it's actually quite refreshing for you to kind of really open up, because sometimes it's actually, you know, when you internalize something, it just sounds a lot bigger. But when you write it down or look at it or think about it, it's actually not a major thing. So ask yourself and acknowledge it. Yeah, I'm fearful that, for example, I've got sometimes this mindset that's a little bit of a perfectionist mindset, which is a disaster when it comes to trying something new. Because, for instance, if I want to, surfing's a big one, for example. I've been wanting to start surfing for a while, right? I want to start surfing mediocre and above. Because I just can't stand not being good at it, you know, and having to go through. And that's a really negative mindset to have. So whenever you're goal setting, set the main goal high, but set small steps of how you're going to get there.
I hope you're going to listen to this podcast once we're done.
And it comes down to literally setting small goals as, I'm going out into the water with a surfboard today. That's it. That's the goal. Today I'm going to do that. Tick, achieved. And you keep moving forward with that. I'm saying this, by the way, to help myself right now. Okay? And it's documented quite a lot in terms of perfectionist mindsets. And it is an issue for people, especially if you're starting a new skill, because you've got such high expectations and you want to, before you even start the skill, you want to execute it at a good standard. And that doesn't happen with new skills. You're going to execute it horribly to start off with.
Yep.
And expect that. Just build very tiny atomic habits, small goals.
The thing is, if you were really good at surfing, let's just say naturally really good at surfing, you wouldn't end up doing it because you're not challenged.
If I was like godlike surfer.
Yeah, I guarantee you'd be bored. Because once you have mastery in so many things,
yeah, if you
at the pinnacle, it's very
and
hard to stay interested.
Yeah, but there's always things to learn.
Yeah.
You'd never be godlike, right?
Yeah.
There's always things. That's why top surfers keep surfing, because there's small things they always need to improve on. But that's a big thing. But in terms of fear of trying and failing, 4 questions ask yourself. What am I really afraid of? Second of all, what is the worst that can happen? Okay. Again, when we internalize stuff, it's huge. It's Titanic. This dumbbell could fall on my head. I'll snap my C2 spine and I'll stop breathing and I'll die. Or I'm going to do it in a funny, my flabs are going to look funny when I do the split squat. Everyone in the gym will turn around, look at me and laugh. Okay. Once you line that up, what's the worst that can happen? Because it never happens, okay? But it is good to acknowledge and be realistic of what the worst thing can happen is, okay? It's never really that large, but sometimes when you put it out there, at least you understand it and you get an understanding of your fear. Once you've answered that question, Ask yourself, who am I really fighting for? Okay. And this is about your goals. Am I fighting for myself? Do I want to live a healthier lifestyle so I can be a good example for my wife and kids? Well, am I trying to lead this, or am I trying to, whatever it is, get in touch with the goal at hand, okay? And that then you can weigh it up against that fear, and it really means something, okay? And the last question is, what if I succeed? Ask yourself that. Internalize it. Think about it. Picture yourself in that successful, I can surf now.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. What if you do? What if, and it's an empowering thought, and sometimes it's a motivating thought because it's a very real thought. And if you start, chances are you're going to get better to a point where you will succeed, and you're going to start lining up new goals. So it's a nice question to finish on. What if you really do succeed?
Man, you'll just gain a whole new skill.
Yeah.
And something you can share with other people. One day somebody asks you, oh, Marvin, how can I surf? Like, there's such a huge ripple effect when you have mastery of something. Or let's just say, going off Marvin's example, you end up saying, what do I gain after sticking to the gym, right? You might end up being able to teach like 5, 6, 7 of your family members.
Yeah.
Get them better, get them healthier. Yeah, there's so many positives to being out of that comfort zone, tackling those challenges and thinking. I like that one. What do I gain out of it?
Yeah.
What can I accomplish?
Yeah. What if I get this? It's how great
nice.
is it going to feel? How good? It's going to feel amazing,
Yeah.
right? I was reading up on touching upon. It's going to be similar to in terms of fear of failing. And in terms of motivators, what motivates you? And some people are extrinsically motivated, and some people intrinsically motivated. And intrinsic motivation is motivation that comes from within. You enjoy that inherent task, right? You love doing it. You love wanting to master it, and you genuinely enjoy doing it, right? Extrinsic is there's a reward or a punishment or something external that's motivating you to do something, right? I'm going to do this jiu-jitsu comp because I want to win the medal, or I want to be champion. I want to win the championships at tennis, or whatever it is. There's something external that's motivating you. Now, or I want to lose weight. I want to get fit. Okay, those are extrinsic motivators because that's the reward. Your reward is you're going to get fit and you're going to look good. Okay, and majority of the time, 99% of the time for beginners, it's an extrinsic motivator that gets you into that zone, right? It gets you started, right? I want to get fit. I want to have a six pack, so you start. I want to lose weight so I can look slim, so you start.
Yeah.
Okay. That's usually it. But the interesting thing is intrinsic motivators tend to stick into a habit for longer because they genuinely enjoy it. Now, if you have never started, you're never going to get to that point where you genuinely enjoy it. You want to master it. Okay. So best thing, piece of advice again to give is to get started, have that extrinsic motivator, build towards it. But once you start doing it, you start actually enjoying the process as opposed to the actual end reward. And that is the beginning of intrinsic motivation. And that tends to linger. And you start to find joy in it, and you stick around, and the fear of failing and everything else kind of tends to subside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought I'd talk about the motivation aspects of intrinsic and extrinsic.
Yeah. I want to talk about the fear.
Yeah.
Which we deal with every day. The fear of not knowing how to execute exercise correctly, which leads to injury.
Yeah.
So on our app, we give very detailed, specified cues on how to execute a movement to keep someone safe, so then they can get stronger.
And I think, from a physio background, we needed to do that.
Yeah. So that was absolutely crucial. And we talk about structural balance, but there's two sort of fears that I want to talk about. Is like, one is DOMS, delayed onset of muscle soreness, which is being so sore that you feel like you can't train. So it is a natural physiological response from training. However, I feel like some people push themselves so much that they're actually seeking that. And we'll talk about that as actually being a myth. afterwards. And then the secondary issue is that people will do an exercise incorrectly once, not seek help on how to rectify that movement. And then that could lead to some form of, let's just say, a shoulder injury. So if you do have a fear around the nature of you will get injured, there's such things that you can do as, like, example, go on our app. We have very detailed videos. You can go to your local gym, seek a fitness instructor or a personal trainer to take you through them. Marvin mentioned this before. You can actually look at videos, start with no weight, just your body, and then learn how to move your body correctly. So there's a few strategies that you can do to overcome if you feel like you're going to get injured in a gym. So from our experiences, when we're dealing with people, we get people to start off light and integrate intensity into their regime. And then that's how you can mitigate those fears of getting injured. Start out slowly. Once you build up that skill level and the tolerance, then naturally you will start increasing your ability to incorporate intensity into your training without feel like, oh, you're constantly inflamed in your shoulder joint or muscles are constantly sore. I just want to go over a few myths that are quite common that Marvin and myself experienced when working with people. So myth number one, the no pain, no gain. So to put it in context, yeah, you do have to endure a little bit of discomfort and pain. However, there's a big difference between a pain that's going to disable you. So that is one issue. You don't always have to search for the hurt. That is not true. You will have your moments where you do go through intense phases of training, followed by some light recovery training sessions, and then you can start that cycle again. Remember, most of your strength increases, muscle hypertrophy, like muscle size gaining, is actually during your rest periods.
Absolutely.
Just a good example is that the power. So we have some amazing powerlifters in New Zealand that currently hold world records. They actually will train. They actually don't peak during their training sessions. They will peak at their training, taper off. Everyone's slightly different, but the biggest I've heard is for a deadlift is they will stop 12 days before the actual powerlifting comp.
Yeah.
And then they peak on the comp and they don't actually deadlift. So that's a good example of how important rest is. So yeah, no pain, no gain is...
Yeah, no, it's a
true.
fallacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same thing, I would just want to add to that in terms of DOMs and the pain you feel. It's not always a direct indicator that you've had a great workout. You could do a fantastic workout and not feel pain, okay? Usually when doing new movements that the body's not used to or hasn't done in a long time, that's when you get that pain because the muscle wasn't used to it. Doesn't mean the muscle's going to grow stronger because you felt the pain. Not at all.
You're not going to speed it up.
Absolutely not. And there's specific types of training that are going to cause DOMs more so than others. And that doesn't mean that those types of trainings are more beneficial. Not at all. It depends what the target is. Pain is not always...
No, you can... No. Me and Marvin, we're well conditioned over the years of training. However, it doesn't take much for us to create pain if we want. Example, if we do a 6-week strength block, let's just say, just to make things easy, reps and sets 5x5, okay? Let's say we do that for everything. After 6 weeks, all we have to do is do giant sets or supersets, 10 to 12 reps, tempo 3 seconds down to lower weight, 1 second up, and we will be crippled the first few sessions.
Absolutely.
But we know we actually need to start those cycles a bit lighter. So
yeah,
so DOMS is also a myth.
Yeah.
Another one that we come across is that you need to be sore after every workout. So generally speaking, that is also a huge myth. It can end up being counterproductive. So being in a state of pain can mitigate your ability to actually produce a lot more force. So you could actually go into each session weaker and you end up getting diminishing returns.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We see that quite a bit during a sporting season. So your off season, you can get yourself as strong as possible and you can actually train quite a lot. But during season, when you're actually playing your sports, etc., you can expect strength to decrease a little. And because you're going through in different intensities and higher output, So then when you're training, you don't want to push through the gym and think, oh yeah, I'm sore, this is good, and keep pushing. No, it means that it's counterproductive and your tissue can't actually heal in time for the next stimuli. So those are sort of three myths that goes around the I'm scared of getting injured. Well, don't listen to everybody that talks about the three myths of no pain, no gain. I must get DOMS, I must get sore muscles, or yes, I'm sore the next day.
Yeah.
This is great. No, maybe you just need a little bit more recovery. So it's something to think about if that is your fear and that's what's holding you back from the gym. Start light. You could go through quite a lot of training sessions throughout your career where you won't get sore, you won't be disabled. But those times that you do, maybe just add on 1 or 2 more rest days, then hit the gym again or hit your sports. Yeah, it ends up being counterproductive for a lot of people.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, and I think it's a real thing. Fear of also getting injured. Wanted to ask you this: if someone did have a legitimate injury, and whether it's for example, you mentioned shoulder, just to say it's a rotator cuff tear, and it broke the routine of that person completely, and it kind of scared him away from exercise. How would you approach that person in terms of what advice could you give those people? And just to getting back into it.
Yeah, most definitely. So initially, I always say to people, you've got multiple other muscles, multiple other joints that you could actually train.
Yeah.
So first thing is that you don't want to stop, because as soon as you lose momentum of inertia, you start to lose it, you retract, potentially stop your training. So what you want to do is, let's just take the shoulder as an example. Okay, shoulder pathology. You can still do, and Marvin and I also get people to do this, unilateral work on the non-affected side until you can get the inflammatory response down, and you can still train abs, legs, arms, etc. So that's what we would suggest for people to do. In addition to that, you can get your program structure around it. So we are working with a gentleman. He just had surgery on his shoulder and can't use it, still in a sling. He's going to be in the sling for about another 4 or 5 weeks. So we've got him doing some unilateral work on his left side, and he's doing a lot of legs. And he's staying highly motivated and really enjoying
active.
that. Yeah. And then also going back to what Marvin and I have discussed previously is looking back about the technique side that could have led to the shoulder injury. So once the inflammation settles after a few days and you feel like there's no pain there, you have to think, okay, was it exercise? What significant damage actually happened in there? Seek professional guidance from somebody if you needed to get it tested out.
Yeah.
So we're very big into getting an assessment done, because you don't want to go back into training and reproduce the same amount of pain or the same pain because of how you were executing the exercise. So that's really, really important.
Absolutely. And I think for the injured individual themselves, giving them that knowledge and saying, okay, let's see what happened, why this injury occurred, and whether it's a technique issue, whether it's a strength, whether it was person was too fatigued, whatever it is, and analyzing and putting it down to one thing gives that particular person some confidence. Like, oh, I did this because I did this wrong. I need to rectify this in order that. So giving you that knowledge will give you more confidence and be more inclined to get back into the gym more confidently.
Or training volume, like, searching for the hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
The no pain, no gain. So let's just say example, a young person for some reason doing heaps of bench press.
Yeah.
It might just be too much on the shoulder joints and the surrounding capsules, the surrounding muscles, the support, that they're already pre-fatigued. Then you're going back, let's just say you benched on the Monday, you go back Wednesday or Thursday, and those muscles quite haven't recovered, and you're maxing out again, like searching for the same chest pain that you had like a month ago. Well, then I'd say that's counterproductive and not quite sensible, because it's a longevity thing that you're going for as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can optimize sleep and nutrition, but Marvin and I are going to talk about all this stuff later on in the year. But just generally speaking is, don't search for the pain. Make sure you do things correctly.
Nice.
And make sure you give enough time for any inflammatory response to settle.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Another fear of people not wanting to join or get back is fear of not having a plan. Just being whether they're clueless or not having the plan. And we kind of covered it a little bit earlier in terms of the square of your comfort zone, and going outside of it is just a little bit blurry, and you just have no idea how to start, how to initiate it. And best piece of advice is, this is where Robin and I, all the coaches, any coach out there can be so useful, or a friend or a family member who's had many years of experience in the gym or the exercise that you want to initiate. Okay, they can help demystify what's going on and what you're trying to get into. Okay, that's one thing. Many things have already covered in terms of doing your own research. There's plenty out there, and you can get started and having that plan, write out your goals, make that jump a lot narrower. Okay, so a lot of things around that's going to be very, very important. Okay, second piece of advice I can give you is, you do not need to lock in to one thing and go, Hail Mary, this is what I'm going to do, that's it. It's not that. Don't think you need to. You can go into a class and not enjoy it and not go back ever again. That's fine. You can jump into a particular sport or a yoga session and you didn't enjoy it, or you do it for 3 months and you find out it wasn't your thing. Don't think you're going to jump into something and it's just, that's it. It's going to encapsulate you. You're going to do it for the rest of your life. Yep. So I actually encourage you to go, if you're not sure, go try out different things. Okay. There's an interesting thing called ClassPass here in New Zealand that you can sign up and you gain access to multiple gyms, multiple yoga studios, multiple classes. And it gives someone an opportunity to try different things out. And if you enjoy something, you can cancel that and then just focus on that thing. So that's one thing. And the second thing, like I mentioned, goal setting, doing your own research, and having someone, a professional ideally, to help guide you through that, because it just takes all the guesswork away and it gives you some accountability on top to make sure you get the work done.
Having a plan builds confidence for people. And I find that a lot of the people we're working with report that back to us.
Yeah.
That they like the fact that they can go in, execute the plan with proficiency, know that the plan is going to be safe because it's structurally sound for the human body.
And it's built for them.
And just focus on it.
Yeah, absolutely. It just takes out all the guesswork. And if you're a busy person and you're focused on work, family, and everything else around that, you don't want to go. It's not a nice feeling going into the gym and sometimes having to just to stare at a squat rack and think about what am I going to do today? What day is it? Have I trained chest this week? Have I done this? Should I do some cardio? It's nice just to have a set up plan. Monday we do this, Tuesday we do this, Wednesday we rest, Thursday's this, and then it's just so easy, it's effortless. So planning, it's that old cliche again, if you're not planning, you're going to fail. So
planning prevents piss poor performance.
That's
sign up with the L&T app today. No, but we should. We structure the whole thing for you. It's done. Just go and execute, record your weights, log it, progress.
That's it.
Perfect.
That's it. Have a plan.
Let us do the thinking for you.
Exactly.
Or someone else. On that note, fear of commitment.
Yeah.
So,
if you're not planning, you don't want to commit.
So fear of commitment. Okay, I just want to briefly explain what Marvin and I have gotten from people that we're working with. So, length of gym membership. Fear of failing to hold those accountable, which we've spoken about. Fear of return on investment. So we're talking about like the monetary investment. So making sure that you will sign up or you're not going to sign up because of monetary loss, whatever that looks like for you. Feeling like you're too busy or cannot train because you're too tired. I want to make a note about length of membership.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you.
And also about the L&T app.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're thinking about a gym membership, okay, so fortunate enough now, a lot of gyms will have, okay, you can do a trial period or minimum requirement is sign up for 1 month.
Yep. So sometimes they can let a friend in to come in.
It's changed.
Yeah.
It's changed. So if you're not aware of it, have a look at your local gyms and see, okay, what is actually available now? So if your fear is like, I don't want to sign up for 6 months because I don't know if I'm going to go for 6 months, or I can't commit to 6 months. Like, that's understandable. We've spoken about it before. Make a start. Okay,
Yeah.
just action something now. So that might be you signing up, okay, just for the 1 month. Cool. Just start with that.
Yeah.
So if that's one of your fears, you don't need to sign up as long term as what you had to previously. Every gym's a little bit different. Even with for Marvin and I, we can with our app, we've made it available so people can just do the first month, see how they go, at least sign themselves up. So if that's one of your fears, even with what we provide for people, just 1 month.
Yeah.
So we start to eliminate the fear of, okay, long-term engagement. If you feel like, oh man, I can't dedicate myself to 6 months, understandable.
Yeah.
Trial and error. So that's one of the fears. And I think now we can start stripping away those barriers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, action
Absolutely.
now, short term.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
You don't need those 6 to 12 month memberships now.
Yeah. Conversely, I'm going to flip it over a little bit now.
Yeah.
And especially those in terms of return of investment, if you're making an investment into the gym and you're not sure, you've got a fear of commitment, or you've got a fear of failing the person holding you accountable.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to flip it and say a little bit of that fear is actually a good thing. Okay, because you need to have some fear about, I don't want to let Robin down. Because that kind of motivates you and pushes you. Or I've just paid this much for a 3 month gym membership. I need to go. I've paid for it, you know? So a little bit of that can get your ass up and do things, okay?
I
So
don't want to waste the money.
exactly. You don't want it to be detrimental and you're fully freaking out about it, but it's a natural instinct not to let someone down. So actually getting someone and making them hold you accountable is actually a nice little ticklish fear, you know, and that's good one to have. And there's actually a lot of research to show, and this was a physiotherapy based research in terms of having clients pay for their rehabilitation and physio appointments, and having clients who do not pay. And they looked at the way those clients were able to be adherent to the exercises prescribed and to the rehabilitation process. And these studies were all showing statistically significant benefits of the clients who are actually paying were more vigilant in doing their exercises and more vigilant with doing their rehab process week in, week out, and actually got out and recovered from injuries a lot quicker. And I would go as far as saying the same thing with gym memberships. If you're doing something for free, you're less inclined to kind of push yourself, I've got this gym here, or I've got this, that. But if you've got a person waiting for you, holding you accountable, or structuring your programs like us, keeping an eye on you, getting the scope on you, or you've paid a gym membership, it's a monetary payment, and you're committing to it, that might actually push you. Don't be so afraid of that. A little bit of that fear might actually be enough to cause enough friction to get you moving.
Yeah, I use that a lot. I will pay for something.
Yeah.
Almost like forcing myself to use it because I don't want to waste the money.
Yeah.
But then also you end up valuing the commodity product that you've just purchased, because you have to pay to value something, right?
That's true. That's true.
So
like
I
that.
always think about my car. My very, very first car, I paid $2,500. I still took care of it.
Yeah.
Let's just say the day I get a Ferrari, I know the way I take care of the Ferrari, which is probably going to be a lot of money compared to my $2,500 car, the way I treat it's going to be very different.
Yeah.
Because of the value, the amount of effort you put into save to buy something like that. And I think it's the same with the health. If you're flipping it around, you've paid money, so make use of it.
Absolutely.
Sometimes with a golf membership, I think, okay, I need to get X amount of golf games in to make my membership.
Yeah.
So the more golf that I play, supposedly, the less my membership. So if you're paying, let's just say $25 a week on your health regime, do more of it.
Yeah.
So then each time it becomes cheaper. You wouldn't go to one class because then you're paying $25 a class.
Yeah.
Go to 5 classes, then it became $5 a class.
Absolutely.
So that's a good return on monetary value.
Yeah.
And I think about when we look at what we're talking about, the monetized side of it all, you have to think about how many days you have away from work from being sick, or mentally you're at home but you're not feeling very well, or you're always feeling lethargic, you don't have any vitality. I could list a few things, or like you've had hospital admissions, or you got diabetes, like
Oh,
You have to think like that's very expensive. So are you better off investing in yourself,
Yeah.
monetary wise, to get to the gym, to pay the money to pay for a trainer, or are you willing to go down the other track
Yeah.
and then think, okay, I could be sick, illness, not feeling good about myself, whatever it may be. So you have to start looking at these pros and cons, even list it. Be like, what do I have to gain from it? So
Yeah. And
so don't fear it.
absolutely.
Embrace it.
And on the flip side of that is some people say, no, it's too expensive. I don't want to pay $25 a week. And then they'll end up spending $25 a week on coffee or,
Yeah.
or 120, 100, 200. Now it's so expensive, $200 eating out per week,
Yeah.
So you can adjust and budget for that. And now there are gyms that are really affordable, guys. So this is not a major. It's not really taking a massive cut out of your pay. So and any payment you do for personal growth, whether it's physical, mental, cognitive, whatever it is going to benefit you, and it should make it an easier decision for you once you know it is for your growth and it's for your health specifically, which is more important than anything else.
Yeah.
So all we've got.
The last barrier that I want to raise is
Are you
about
going to talk about? What are you going to talk about?
No, just about the I'm too tired.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you that. What if I
Yeah.
can't commit because I'm too busy?
Yeah,
What about that
too
one?
busy, too tired.
Yeah.
So understandable. But like all things, right? If you want to make time for something, you'll make time for it.
Yeah.
So it's very important that you schedule it into your calendar and you make yourself available for it. Like all things that you want to do to make it a priority.
Yeah.
So you as an individual, we've gone through a whole lot of things over this series, over this podcast. At the end of the day, it's like you as an individual, you are important, you are essential. So you make the time to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because no one will do it for you. If Marvin is doing a whole bunch of training,
Yeah. Get aggressive, Robin. Get aggressive.
I don't get
Yeah.
a benefit from it. If he's doing heaps of strength training, I don't get stronger. If he's doing fitness training, I don't get fitter.
Yeah.
So unless I'm going to be proactive and I schedule it into my diary and I'm showing to myself that I'm a priority, then you're going to most likely do it. So it's very important. Busy is not an excuse.
No.
It's prioritization. How important are you to be healthy and fit for yourself? Secondly, your family.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important that you don't use that as an excuse. Prioritize it. So you could probably take, I'm probably 99% of you could probably take Netflix out. There's 2 hours. Go to the gym. We're probably going to do a whole nother podcast on it, but
yeah. Oh, it's huge.
Just for now, just as a take home, just schedule it into your diary. Diarize it like everything else that's important to you. That's how you can prioritize it. Busy is not an excuse.
That's not an excuse. It just doesn't exist, guys.
Yeah.
It simply does not exist. This excuse really kills me, and it might sound like an attack, but you're not busy. Okay, you just can't schedule or prioritize.
Yeah.
Full stop. While doing this one, actually, I did a little bit of research, and I was just checking some busy people. Okay, I checked Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Obama back when he was a president. And Jeff Bezos is
Did I make the top 5?
Jeff Bezos. Okay, he's the owner of Amazon. He's got to be busy, right? And his trainer said he does not miss a single day of exercise. Okay, that does not miss a single day of exercise. Elon Musk, I think, does cardio twice and lifts weight twice a week. Okay, Obama cannot get through the day without cardio and doing weight training as well. Okay, so these guys I'm pretty sure these guys are quite busy as well. Okay, so but you've got to prioritize your health, okay? We know we train very busy and also very successful people.
Well, what's your training schedule? Like, let's put it into context so people don't... Because they'll probably say, oh, you guys are full of shit.
Yeah,
You don't
okay,
even
so...
train. So what's your weekly schedule at the moment?
So
Monday?
Where I'm usually at work from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., but I leave a 2-hour gap in the middle, okay? From 12 till 2 o'clock is when I train and usually do strength training focusing on back and a little bit of legs, okay? Tuesday, I've got a half day, then I've got football in the afternoon, okay?
Half day is
half
also
day, 7 hours.
half day is 7 to 8 hours.
Yeah. Wednesday, again, I work 6 till 6, and I've got that 2 hour gap. And that's when I do a little bit of plyometric power work for legs now that football season's starting. Okay. Thursday is rest, but I do include 20 minutes of mobility in the afternoon. Friday, half day, 7 hour day, and I either train shoulders, arms, upper body explosiveness, or I'll play tennis. And Saturday is usually football, or at the moment it's off season, so me and my wife go and train at the gym together. And we mix and match. Sometimes I'll just work on my weaknesses and what I'm lacking throughout the week.
And Sunday?
Sunday is rest, 20 minutes of mobility again.
Yeah. So there's actually no rest. It's prioritizing, changing. So working on strength, working on conditioning, or working on flexibility and mobility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many fears, okay? Sometimes they can be crippling, but there is always a way to approach them.
Yeah.
There's always a way, whether it is you seeking help from the people around you or you working on thought management, mindset, goal setting. Like we said, building confidence and mindset is not a talent. Something you can work on, just like getting bigger glutes, okay? Mindset is the same. You want to grow that, you want to strengthen that. It's a step-by-step process. Work on gratitude, mindfulness, do the breathing techniques, whatever it is to help you. Do your research of your new lifestyle. What does it look like? Be prepared.
Either online, friends, talk to people that already specialize in
Coaches, yes. Prepare for that, okay? Fears do exist. We're not acknowledge them, face them, and make them
move forward with them.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
You agree, Liam?
Liam?
He's going to be around a lot more during these podcasts. Peace out, everyone.
All right.
Take it easy.